As we navigate through this pandemic together, there's been no doubt that the effects of COVID-19 have impacted the world. My name is Gerard, and I'm going to talk about how to stay motivated during this time. We're having to learn new ways to cope with a different way of life, with many of us now finding ourselves working from home or studying from home, and realizing that many things will take a long time to get back to normal again. We all know someone who's been affected in some way. People who have lost their jobs, or others who are struggling to pay rent, or we've heard stories of people who found themselves stranded while traveling, and so much more. The reality is that we have all been affected in one way or another, and we've all been forced to make adjustments and to adapt to these unusual times. But with so many sudden changes in our lives, it can be discouraging to find the willpower to even complete the most simplest of tasks. How can we find the drive to keep going? This video will address the question, how do I stay motivated during COVID-19? This topic of motivation is important for me because I personally found myself struggling in the first few weeks of the pandemic when trying to make changes and adjustments. I remember there were times when I had this sinking feeling in my stomach of helplessness when I was watching the news and when I was scrolling down social media. I just felt afraid and unsure of everything. I found myself discouraged because the new restrictions meant I wasn't able to see my family and my friends. I was getting less sleep, I was struggling to concentrate, and I was rapidly losing sense of direction and motivation. It was only through time, in personal prayer, and encouragement from other close friends that I was able to make adjustments and to find motivation to get into my studies once more. Have you felt discouraged or unmotivated during this time? I asked a handful of people, what keeps you motivated at this time?
Well, thank you, Gerard, for the opportunity to share with you what makes me feel motivated given the current pandemic. When the pandemic hit, I was overseas in Canada and I returned to Australia with my family. Where else would you want to be but home? And we all were quite disappointed that our overseas trip had been cancelled. We did plan to go to places like Morocco, to places like France and to the UK. In order to try and make up for that lack of an international trip, what we have done is got into cooking, into making meals that represent particular countries in a very big way. And that's brought us together quite strongly, I think, as a family. So we have had a Moroccan dish, a French dish, and a Greek dish. So for me, what motivates me, I think, is the tremendous coming together of colleagues right across Australia to try and handle this new crisis, this new way of living together. My hope is that we can hang on to that new bonding, that in UK terms Dunkirk spirit, or in Aussie terms the mateship, the spirit of mateship in tackling other big crises of the future. Thank you.
Two things that have helped me stay motivated during this time of COVID is doing the things that I enjoy, so reading more and surfing more with all the extra time. Something that's helped me stay positive and be excited about life and all that is good.
Hey everyone, a few things I like to do during this crazy time we're in to keep sane are cuddle my pets, take him out for a walk, keep him active. I also love to bake or try a new recipe for my family.
During this time of COVID-19, I've kept myself motivated by practicing some creativity in all aspects of my life. Some examples would be being creative in my prayer life, being creative in the way that I keep fit, and also being creative in the way that I express myself through music or through art.
Well, I spend more time in prayer, and I enjoy being with God. I notice the beauty of God's creation in nature and in solitude. I am grateful for who I am, as created in God's likeness.
This COVID-19 crisis has taught us all a lot about what really matters and the need to focus on what really matters. So the only way to motivate yourself through a time like this is to focus more and more upon what really matters. And in a sense, it's a contemplative time, and therefore prayer becomes more important than ever as a way of leading us into that deep focus, which is the only true motivation for us in a time like this, a time of affliction.
So how do I stay motivated during this time? I set small goals, small achievable goals, and I give myself rewards. So if I need to get through something, I say after that I can go for a walk or I can have a coffee, get myself a treat. Other things that I do is just keeping a positive mindset. So just thinking about what can I do to achieve what needs to be done.
We also asked Associate Professor Father Jamie Calder, a Catholic priest and a practicing psychologist, for his wisdom on the current situation.